Hi, welcome along to AFTV. In this video, I wanted to tell you the 5 things I'm really liking about Mikel Arteta right now. 100 games in for Mikel Arteta after the Watford game. And I'll tell you what, at the moment, he's doing a great job. Here are the 5 things I'm liking about Mikel Arteta. Number 1, the unbeaten run. Who would have thought it? 5th place right now, Arsenal. You would never have thought that at the start of the season. Remember, we went to Brentford away, got beaten quite badly, even though, all right, it wasn't a thrashing, but it was a poor performance by Arsenal. Followed it up with a bit of a chastening defeat against Chelsea at home, and then we went away to Manchester City and got absolutely spanked. And at that time, a lot of us, including me, were saying to ourselves, you know what? I'm not sure if this is the right man for the job. If he loses his next game against Norwich, surely we've got to make a change. But he won that game. And since that game, he's been on a great run. 10 games unbeaten in all competitions and playing some good football as well. He really has turned things around. In this sort of year when managers are getting sacked left, right and centre, you've seen 5 managers sacked already this season, a quarter of all the managers in the Premier League. We decided to stick with him. And I'll tell you what, it's starting to look like a good decision. 10 games unbeaten. I'm really liking what I'm seeing with that Mikel Arteta, but we've got to keep it going. Second thing I'm liking about Mikel Arteta is his signings. I'll tell you what, him and Edu have really done brilliantly with the signings. They were under a lot of pressure in the summer, £150 million to spend. And they could have went out there and they could have said to themselves, right, we're going to buy a couple of marquee names, big names, bring them in, get the fans really on side, but they didn't. They went with a strategy of, we're going to bring in some young, hungry players with a lot of potential. They brought them in, and I'll tell you what, they've all done really, really well. I mean, Ben White, 50 million, we were all there scratching our head and saying, yeah, really? I mean, good player and all that, but 50 million? That's a lot of money to spend on, a centre-back. But I'll tell you what, he has been excellent. We can already see the potential of this guy, how good he's going to be. He's been playing really well after a bit of a dodgy start in his first game. And definitely, you're starting to see that this is going to be a guy that will justify that price tag. Nuno Tavares, how good has he been at left back? Kieran Tierney's been missing, and we've been like, and this is no disrespect in any way to Kieran Tierney, because we still love him, and he's still got a massive part to play in the team. But we've been like, yeah, Kieran, take a rest. You're good at the moment. We got cover for you. I mean, Nuno Tavares has been brilliant. And that's what we want, don't we? We want competition for places for our best players like Kieran Tierney. Then look at some of the other signings that he's made. Aaron Ramsdale. Now, come on. Be real with me right now. When you heard we were signing Ramsdale, were you a bit like me? Were you thinking, what? Aaron Ramsdale, he's had a couple of relegations, are you sure? This guy has been a revelation. He's been brilliant in goal. You can't forget those brilliant saves he made against Leicester. And it's not just been that. He's commanded his box. He's shown leadership. He's been a breath of fresh air. And I love the fact that connection between him and the fans. Aaron Ramsdale has been absolutely outstanding. Then there's Martin Odegaard, the guy I've got here on my top. Loving Odegaard. Yet to hit the real heights that I know he's going to hit, but definitely an incredible signing. And of course, you can't forget Tomiyasu. This guy has looked outstanding. Love the fact that he turned down Tottenham. And I'll tell you what, Tottenham, they must be mad. He has been brilliant. Quick, strong, just such a good player. Those 5 signings that he made, that a lot of people were looking at, and I'm saying experts as well, and were saying, what is Arteta and what are Edu doing? They're out of their depth. What kind of signings are these? They have been brilliant signings. And I've loved that about Arteta. He said, listen, we've got a plan with these guys. You're going to see it. I think we're all starting to see it. Great signings, and I'm loving that about Arteta. The third thing I'm liking about Mikel Arteta is the togetherness of the team. I'm really liking that togetherness. I remember at the Watford game, Pierre-Emerick missed the penalty. There was a corner immediately after that. He ran back for the corner. We were defending the corner. And Aaron Ramsdale ran out of the goal, went up to him, tapped him and said, "Don't worry, skipper, we're good." I loved that. And then the fans saw that and started singing Aubameyang's name. It was fantastic. There's a togetherness with this team. You can see it. I saw it at the Leicester game. I saw it at the game against Crystal Palace where we had a poor game, but Lacazette came on and got that sort of last-minute goal. You saw the togetherness. There's a camaraderie there. These players are playing for each other. They're working hard for each other. I mean, it's a real joy to see. And I'm really liking this. And of course, that must come from the manager. I mean, he's even got Kolasinac back on board. You know, remember, we was all thinking Kolasinac is leaving. Kolasinac is back on board and in the fold and looks to be wanting to play for the manager. This togetherness has been brilliant, and that's down to the manager, Mikel Arteta. We've got to give him credit for that. So that's another thing I'm liking. The fourth thing I'm really liking about Mikel Arteta is I'm really starting to see a style of play. It was something I was very critical about after the first 3 games. I was like, what's our style of play? What's our style? Who are we now? I'm starting to see that. A lot of that has come through the consistency of playing more or less, you know, the same 11 in the last few games. And I think it's almost like Mikel Arteta realises that that's my best 11, you know? And we're seeing it now. We're seeing a style of play, you know, we can go out there and we move the ball quick. You know, Ben White is imperious at the back, but he's got a great partnership with him and Gabriel. You know, Tavares down the flanks, Saka. You know, I've just seen a style of play. It's exciting. Smith Rowe, you know, an exciting Arsenal is what I've been watching, but also an Arsenal that defends very well, an Arsenal that works hard off the ball. Something that we've not been known for over the years. I've seen that. When we were up against it, against Leicester, the defending was brilliant. Blocks going in, players tracking back, getting behind the ball. But then when we won that ball, quick attacks. I'm liking that style of play. Finally starting to see an Arsenal that's difficult to beat, good at set pieces as well. Don't forget that. I think we scored more goals from set pieces than any other team in the Premier League this season. There's something happening. There's something happening. There's a style of play. It's good, it's quick, it's exciting. But also, when we need to do the ugly stuff, we're doing it. And again, give it up to the manager. It's all right to criticise him when things go wrong, but big him up when it's going right. And I'm liking that about Mikel Arteta. The fifth and final thing I am liking about Mikel Arteta is he is improving players. Players that some of them last year that had a tough time, he's either improving them or he's got the spirit back in them. Aubameyang, scoring goals again playing with a smile in his face. He could easily have chucked him away, but he hasn't. He's stuck with him. Lacazette, wow, what a revival. We all know he's in his last year of the contract. Listen, he could have downed tools. The manager could have said, I ain't playing him, but he's not. He's been playing him. Lacazette has been absolutely brilliant. You can't tell me that that's a player just running down his contract wanting to leave. That's a guy giving everything. Saka and Emile Smith Rowe, as the song goes. Look how good these two guys have been. And again, that's the manager giving them to their head and saying, listen, you may be young, but I trust you both. You guys are top players. Go out there and do your stuff. And we're seeing the best of those guys, especially Emile Smith Rowe right now. And then you even look at certain other players. I mentioned it earlier, Kolasinac. You know, who would have thought he'd even get a game? But I think it's been very smart by Mikel Arteta, giving him a game here and there, you know, bringing him on. And when he's come on, he's done what he's had to do for the team. Same with El Neni. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Remember in the summer, the big fallout? It looked like they were going, like Ainsley Maitland-Niles was leaving. And then a lot of us were saying, does Mikel Arteta get on with players? Well, we saw Guendouzi, Saliba. Is he really getting on with players? But look at Ainsley Maitland-Niles right now. He's right behind the cause. He got a start the other day against Watford, was the man of the match. This is a guy that is playing for his manager, and he may have fallen out with him in the summer, but he's right on board. And again, that's down to Mikel Arteta. and the spirit that he's got in this team. It's great to see him getting the best out of these players. We're going to need it because we don't have the biggest squad. And listen, we're still lacking in certain areas. But if he can get the best out of what we've got, as my mum used to say, all you can do is your best. And if we're getting the best out of what we've got, you never know where it could take us. So that's another thing I'm liking about Mikel Arteta. So there you go. 5 things I'm liking about Mikel Arteta right now. Right now. He's got to keep it up. We've got some tough games coming up. Liverpool away. We've got Man United coming up as well away. Really tough tests. Listen, whether he can keep the run going or not, we're going to have to wait and see. But he's moving in the right direction. Right now, the fans are starting to get on board with Mikel Arteta. Some of the biggest doubters that I've been speaking to and interviewing over the past few months, even they are turning around and saying, you know what? He's starting to turn me around, and it's good to see. Every fan wants our manager to do well, right? If our manager is doing well, we as a team are doing well. And if us as a team are doing well, we're all happy, right? So let's keep it up. Let's hope that we can go into that Liverpool game, the next game up, with the same sort of spirit that he's been showing and keep that unbeaten run going. But I'm liking Mikel Arteta right now. Guys, let me know in the comments below. I might have missed some things. Give us the reasons that you're liking him, or maybe some areas where you feel he needs to improve. But share and like this video, and we'll be back on the next one.